All right, guys, in this video, I'm going to share the process that I follow when I am learning a song by ear. Now, I will admit that these days it comes pretty instantly to me and I'm able to play just about anything. But in the beginning, I had to take some time and figure things out, and here is how I did it. All right, the first step is figuring out what key our song is in. Now that we know the 5 keys we play open chords in, there are really no more surprises. The first chord of a tune is usually the 1 chord. Not always, though. The first step is just to make a guess on the first chord. And it's probably going to be C, G, D, A, or E. All we have to do is work our way through the possibilities until we're sure. I'll show you more about this later. Now, one thing that's going to throw you off if you try and do this without the ear training sheet that I'll show you here in a second is if there's a capo on the song. I'll tell you if there's a capo on the sheet, but eventually you'll just be able to recognize the shape as you hear it, and then you can figure out where your capo is. Now that we know the key that our song is in, most likely, we have an educated guess as to the other chords that are going to happen. So let's say that the first chord to the song is C. There's a pretty good possibility that we are in the key of C, which means the other chords we're going to use are probably F, G7, and A minor. Figure out the second chord in the exact same way that we figured out the first chord. Be sure to write these down so you remember. Then the third, then the fourth. Eventually, the chord progression will start over and you will have each chord figured out for that section of the song. Then all that's left is figuring out a strumming or picking pattern that works, and you're good to play that entire section of the song. An important note here, songs can have as many sections as they want to. But there's usually 3 to 4 that will happen in a tune, and they repeat a whole bunch. Examples of these could be the intro or the interlude, a verse, a chorus, a bridge, or a pre-chorus. All we have to do is figure out how many sections there are and what each section is made up of. And then we can put it together and play the whole song. Now, let's talk about what happens if you're having a hard time figuring out what chord you're hearing. It doesn't match up with anything in the key. When this happens, odds are the song did not start on the 1 chord. This is a pretty easy fix because all you have to do is look at the row above the key that you initially thought was right and try those chords. If this doesn't work, go to the row below the one you thought it was. If this doesn't work, the last thing I would try is all of the 6 minor chords. So try an A minor, an E minor, a B minor, an F sharp minor, or a C sharp minor. Or a D minor too. That's not one of the ones we have listed, but it does happen. In the next video, I'm going to show you how I approach learning these tunes before you try it for yourself.